Let's jump straight into the song. So this is the entire project. I made it a couple of weeks back and I haven't opened it since then, so I'm a little rusty on what I used, but let's see what I did. First of all, we'll skip the intro and the outro and we'll go straight into the drop, the first verse. I'm not going to show you the entire song, but I'm going to show you snippets of it because I do want to keep it a surprise in order to release the song eventually. Anyway, this is the piano progression that I made. It's a simple 8-bar chord progression, like what I usually do. And also like what I usually do, I keep it simple and I add a little bit of variations in the higher notes. The bass notes remain the same throughout, but it's the higher top melody that gives a variation. Just slight variations, a couple notes changed here and there, but that's it. As far as the effects go, first of all, I widen the sound a little bit right here. This is a stereo knob. If you move it to the right, it increases the stereo presence. And anyway, what I did was I added an OTT, like I usually do. I boost the mids and a little bit of the highs, and I turn down the depth all the way to like 20%. Because it's a very powerful tool, and you don't need that much of harsh compression on your sound. And then, the crown jewel of the sound, I have the cymatics origins. This is what gives it that lo-fi vinyl sound. It's absolutely free. You can find it on the Cymatics website. I highly recommend you go check it out. I might do a video about this soon, but in the meantime, just go and take it. You have nothing to lose. What I just did is this knob. This is what gives it that vinyl crackle sound. There's a lot of sound you can choose from cassette, micro cassette, reel-to-reel vinyl. It's just the intensity of the crackle, and yeah, I just turned that up a little bit, and that's pretty much it. And then we have an EQ. I didn't do much in the EQ, just boosted the high mids just a little bit, and we have this. And with that out of the way, let's move on to the most iconic part of Xander's music for me. From that album particularly, it's the drums. The drums are what really caught my attention. This is a crude representation of what the drums sounded like. I mean, I wasn't trying to copy it, but then heavily inspired. This is what it sounds like. And it just repeats. So what I have is, this is a hi-hat pattern. That one note is just up for that. It gives it a little movement from my perspective. I have that hi-hat coupled with this shaker. No, this isn't a shaker. This is another hi-hat that I really processed to make it sound slightly like a shaker. That's why the confusion. So these aren't what these hi-hats sound like by default. They're actually much higher in frequency. But what I did was I opened this sampler for the hi-hats, and right here where it says pitch, I just turned the knob to the right, because I wanted that low, crunchy sound. Xander's songs, they usually consist of low-tuned hi-hats and snares. Nothing harsh at all. Everything is just mellow and just perfect. And now moving on to his kick. Not his. Moving on to the snare, the kick, and the percussion, I guess. This is what it sounds like. I layered 2 snares, and it's always good to layer snares like this. One snare should be a normal snare when you look at the wave, but then the second one, it should be slightly moved away from the line. And if it has a little bit of a transient or something in the beginning, just like this, it makes it even better. It adds a good crunch to the sound. Yeah. And then I have this percussion, also layered with this percussion. See? It just makes it a little bit more groovy. And yeah, most of these percussions and snares, I have pitched them down. See, right there, there. Yeah, I think all of them I've pitched them down to get that crunchy sound. And that sums up the drum pattern. Now, in order to keep this video short and simple and to preserve the song for the future, I'm just going to show you some of the key elements that I've used that actually makes it an inspired by Xander song, in my opinion. Most of the other elements are just mine, what I usually do. You can find it in all my videos. If you want to know how I arrange my songs, I released a video a couple of weeks back called Lo-Fi Ultimate Arrangement Video, or Ultimate Lo-Fi Arrangement Video. I'll link it right here. So check it out, and I still stick with that formula to this day, and it's helped me out so far. Here's a bridge section where I added a cello. Because I love cellos and why not? And a couple of his songs in that album, they have cellos, really beautiful sounding cellos. There's a song called Careless in Cabin Fever Part 3. But my song is mainly inspired by that one song. And so this artist you see here, Tanyan, I think that's how you say his name. He is a cello player. And he's the one who played the cellos on that track. So inspired by that, I added the cellos here. The secret sauce to this cello, why it sounds so good, is because I'm using cello moods by Spitfire Audio Labs. When you use these cellos, you don't have to worry about articulating and playing with the velocities and all that. It's all inbuilt. All you have to do is hold down the notes or the chord progression, and it just does the job for you. Now let's move on to the second drop after the bridge, and this contains the most important element of the song. It contains the sound that I want people to remember after listening to this track. They are the trumpets. Now, I'm not sure if Xander uses trumpets. He may or may not have, or maybe a sax, but I don't have any good sax VST, so I had to settle with the trumpet, and my god, it works so good. This is what it sounds like. Now, these trumpets are by BBC Symphony Orchestra, another gem by Spitfire Audio, also free. This melody you hear is a mixture of long trumpets and short trumpets. For example, these notes you hear, these are all short trumpets. And then you have the long ones. These are the long. I can't play them individually, or maybe I can. Oh yeah, I can. So yeah, these are the long. Yeah, because to give it that realistic, humanized sound, you need to combine the long and short. Not just when it comes to trumpets, when it comes to anything related to strings or wind instruments or anything orchestral, you need to combine long and short in order to like emulate the short breaths and the long breaths of a human playing. Combine them together and you get this. Kind of fire, right? I know, it's fire. I know, you can admit it. So I just showed you the piano, the drums, and the cello, and the trumpets. 4 elements, which I guess were inspired by Xander. Everything else is all me. This is all what I would put in. Let's see. I love using string plucks, like violin plucks, in my songs, and I have that. By the way, if you hear that vinyl crackle throughout, it's because if you add a cymatics origins onto one channel, no matter what you play, it always has that sound on. That's the one annoying thing about cymatics origins. But other than that, it is a great plugin, and all you have to do is mute it, but I'm just too lazy to mute it because I have like multiple cymatics origins, and in order to find them and mute them, you can hear it. You're fine. You're fine. And I have it paired with this. It's a sequencer. You just hold down one note and it plays a sequence of notes. This one in particular, I think it's from Pigments by Arturia. It went so well with the plucks that I just had to keep it in. This is how it sounds. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have a piano lead in the first half of the song. In the first half of the verse, the drop, I have a piano lead which goes with the piano progression. I'll just play both. Sounds pretty mellow. And then I think the last sound that I have of any importance is I have a guitar. So this guitar is a secret sauce that I use to get that realistic sounding ambient guitar. I usually mention this in my other videos, but then I only mention half of it. I don't mention the other half because I don't always use it, but I'll just mention it right now. The guitar sound that you're hearing is the Peel Guitar 2, also Spitfire audio. I'll just play it without the processing. You can hear the stupid vinyl, but and then this little plugin right here, Hardcore. It's a stock FL plugin. Just load this in, choose the jazz guitar preset, and that's how you get this sound. You just see how much it changes that sound? And then on top of that, I have this crystallizer with a grantacular delay. It's a granular delay. It gives a little bit more texture to the sound. The other texture you hear is the stupid cymatics origins, but it's still a good plugin. I guess that's pretty much it when it comes to the sounds. And then I added a Kids in the Park ambience. Because with this whole song, I'm going for kind of a park vibe. You're sitting on a park bench at sunset and you're just staring out at the park, seeing life just happening, I guess. And yeah, that pretty much sums up the entire song. I kept it simple. I don't have a lot of elements for this. I don't know when I plan to release it, but I think I have a few more tweaks to do. And then there's mixing. I have to mix it pretty well. But sound-wise, yeah, I think it does justice to Xander. Even though I wasn't making it as a tribute to Xander or anything. It was just a song that I made while I was listening to a lot of that particular album, Cabin Fevers Part 3. So if you guys haven't heard it, please check it out. I highly recommend it. It is really good. It broke my creative block that I was having and it gave me new ideas. And I love it when music does that to me. So it might help you out too, you never know.